Hi guys, it's Chasey with Jesus in Mind podcast, and I am so excited about today. So, got a hair. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what it truly means to be living for God or living with God. So, to kind of explain what that topic is, when God comes back, when Jesus comes back to this earth, do you think you're going to be one that goes home with him, or do you think you're going to be one that's still here on earth? So, to say that I know the true answer to that, the true meaning behind what I'm saying right now, is totally wrong. I just want you guys to know that nobody truly knows in theory that what's actually going to happen. But I just want to touch on what I truly think it means and what I want to say to encourage you to be living for God and not just living for yourself. So another thing that I want to say is don't read too much into this. But I just wanted to touch on it and let everyone know my thoughts and my theories about it. And yeah, so let's get started. So the only Bible verse I'm actually going to read in this is going to be 2 Peter, and it's going to be 3:14 and to the end of that. But I'm going to touch on that at the very end, and then I have a picture I'm going to read to you that I saw the other day on Facebook, and then I'm going to just explain my ideas and my thoughts about this. So I want to start off with saying that my idea of living for Christ, or the difference between living for God and living for you, could be kind of I know multiple people that kind of in a way they're going to say they're going to church so just so they can say that yeah, I go to church, I'm a Christian, which going to church is not, if you go to church on Sunday, wonderful for you, but are you going to church and carrying your sermon, are you carrying that with you through the week, or are you going to church on Sunday and then forgetting that and then living your own life the rest of the week? So, in a way, you could say, I'm not saying you have to do this every day, but reading the Bible every day and truly understanding the meaning behind God's words and wanting to spread the gospel with other people. And even if you're too shy to do something like that or don't have the time to read the Bible every day, would be living for God with just being a nice person. Don't be a mean person and everyone else thinking that not, don't let other people think oh, she's a Christian and Christians are mean. We don't want that to be what people think of Christians. I want people to know that I'm a Christian because I want to help other people and I want God to be seen through me. I want to speak through God, or I want God to speak through me. So don't be carrying that weight with you too hard of saying oh, I'm a Christian, I've got to be perfect, because no one's perfect. The only person that's perfect in this that ever lived on this world was Jesus. There's not a single person. Yes, they might be beautiful and amazing and so good at every sport they do or good at all their work, the homework they do, but that does not mean that they're a perfect person. They have flaws about them just as well as I do and you do. So, living for God is not, you don't need to be worrying about what other people might think of you, and because God is with you. That's all that matters. God made you in the image of Him, and He wants to speak through you if you'll let Him. So be kind to others and kind to yourself, too. Don't be looking in the mirror and getting down on yourself, because I promise you, you are beautiful and you are made in the image of God. So I'm going to go ahead and read this picture I have set up that I saw on Facebook the other day, and then I'm going to read the Bible, and I want to just tell you guys what I think about them. Let me just grab this. So this is kind of like a poem, and it's pretty long. So it says, It says, "'Twas the night before Jesus came, and all through the place, not a creature was praying, not on their face. Their Bibles were laying on their shelves without care, in hopes that Jesus wouldn't come there. The children were dressing. Sorry, that just messed up. The children were dressing to crawl into bed. not one ever kneeling or bowing a head. And Mom in her rocker, with baby on her lap, was watching the late-night show while taking a nap. When out of the east there arose such a clatter, I sprang to my feet to see what's the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. When what to my wondering eyes should appear, but angels proclaiming that Jesus was here, with a light like the sun sending forth a bright ray, I knew in that moment this must be the day. The light of his face made me cover my head. It was Jesus returning like he had said. And though I possessed worldly wisdom and wealth, I cried when I saw him in spite of myself. In the book of life, which he held in his hand, was written the name of every saved man. He spoke not a word, he searched for my name. When he said, "It's not there, it's not here," my head hung in shame. The people whose names had been written with love, he gathered to take to his Father above. With those who were ready, he rose without a sound, while all the rest were left standing around. I fell to my knees, but it was too late. I had waited too long, and thus sealed my fate. I stood and I cried as they rose out of sight. Oh, if I only had been ready tonight. In the words of this poem, the meaning is clear. The coming of Jesus is drawing near. There's only one life, and when comes the last call? Well, find that the Bible was true after all. That hit me like a truck when I read that the first time. It's just so pure and just so true. I don't know who wrote that, and I'm really sorry that I can't tell you who wrote that or who wrote it, but I love that so much. It's crazy to think that like one day when you're not expecting it, he could just show up and you would have no idea. And it's so crazy to think that you could make bad choices your whole life. But when you decide to follow Christ and you decide to give your heart to him, then you're going up there with him and you're going to leave with God. You're not going to be one of those people standing around. And that's so crazy, and I think that's one of the biggest importance that in this world that people don't really understand, or that people think, oh, well, he's not going to come in my lifetime. I don't got to worry about that. You never know. And God promised that he would come back one day, but you don't know if that's going to be in your lifetime or not. So you live for Christ no matter what. And I think that is beyond important, and that's kind of just all I have for today. I'm going to go ahead and read this 2 Peter 3:14 really fast, but then that's kind of all I have to say about that. And I just want to kind of wrap it up there because I think that is the most important thing you could ever think about, that the people that had their Bibles sitting up on their shelves without a care, they're not going to go with Jesus. The people that have been reading their Bibles and bowing their heads every day, that have been living for Jesus and letting him speak through them, they're going to go up there with him. So live for Christ. Okay, so final words. That's the topic of this. So it says, therefore, beloved, since you are waiting for these, be diligent to be found by him without spot or blemish and at peace. So I kind of think this is just saying, this kind of like sounding up everything in that poem I just read. So it's saying like, God is going to find you and God is going to take you without a spot or blemish, and you're going to be at peace. So that's saying like, God's not going to hurt you in any way when he takes you. You are going to go and you're going to have the most peaceful time with God, and you're going to be at peace in your life. But if you haven't lived for God your whole life, you're not going to be at peace when he takes everyone else and you're still down here. So I'm going to go ahead and close my Bible, and I'm going to wrap it up there because that is my favorite part ever. And I think that is like the best thing. You can just like let that sit in truly. And I'm going to actually go ahead and post that picture on my Instagram or on my story, and it'll be under my highlights as quotes because I love it so much. And if you guys want to go back and read it over and over again, read it every day if you want to remind yourself that you need to live for God because everyone's perfect, or nobody's perfect except for Him. But you are made in the image of God, and God made you the way He wanted to make you. So live for Him and use your gift to live for Him. So I'm going to wrap it up there, let that sit in, and then I wanted to go ahead and tell you my Instagram is JesusInMind00. My TikTok is also JesusInMind00. And then obviously on my YouTube channel that you're watching right now, you should definitely go ahead and like and subscribe. And I am so excited to be sharing the gospel with you guys. You don't even know. So thank you so much for listening and so much for watching. I hope you will join me next time. Bye.